Hello and welcome. It is the 26th day of April, 2017, and it is a Wednesday. Welcome to today's video. It's been a few days since my last one, and it's now up towards this area that I've been talking about, the very high 12 level, pierced below 13, 1287, and now it's here. We're at that time. Big moment. It's not really. It's a moment though. In this video, I'm going to be going over some video game analogies. Retro video games. Super NES, Sega Genesis, NES, that kind of deal. But before we do that, gold to Bitcoin ratio. Once again, it has surpassed the price of gold. So who's going to win this race between gold versus Bitcoin? Well, I look at Bitcoin like I look at Sonic the Hedgehog, at least in a race point of view. Sonic the Hedgehog was on the Sega Genesis in the early 1990s. This character was fast, blazing fast. And I look at gold as in Super Mario. Super Mario was on the NES system and the Super NES. Now, Mario was super, like gold super, but it's not as fast. And when it falls, Mario doesn't fall too far and too hard. But Sonic did. Sonic fell hard and fast. Like Bitcoin falls hard and fast as well. So it's up to Sonic the Hedgehog who's going to win this race, because there's nothing gold can do. Gold can double in price, but Sonic laughs, Bitcoin laughs double. Okay, yeah, good job, you doubled. Good job. And then gold will be like, man, I just lost 20%. 20, yeah, you just lost 20. That's like, you hardly fell at all. So that's how I look at this analogy towards. I'm not done the video game reference there for the next point. And that will be the second line. The previous status was the attempt to leave this band. Well, that succeeded, and the attempt was to go up to 1287. Well, then, the current status now is the resistance area test. And we'll call it a second boss. Second boss. What do I mean by that? Well, another video game reference, because games like Super Mario, Ninja Gaiden, you name them, they were all pretty good. The side-scrolling masterpieces where you go through a bunch of the things in the level and go through it relatively fast, but then you would stop at a very tough boss. So in this example here, you leave the band and there's your boss up here. You battle that boss. It's an early level, not that hard, but you lose and you figure it out. You go back to the start of the level. This is going back to that level down in here. You rally back up, so you're back to the boss, and this time you take the boss out and you start a new level. You go to level 1B or something like that. And now that we're at a resistance area target, that's pretty much when a new boss comes in. So welcome, new boss, in this video game, and we'll see what happens. Sometimes you can beat the boss on the first try, and then you can just breeze through the next level. Maybe. But if you lose to the boss, you're going to go back to the start of the level. And saying going back to the start of the level is using a reference tool that you're going back to where resistance was. So if the high 1200s, low 1300s is resistance, I would expect a pullback to around the 1250, 1245 ballpark area. Move this baby on now to the weekly. The weekly, where this 18 average band. Well, let's talk about this whole boss game again. Let's talk about each previous resistance as having such. First one, we'll say in here. You breeze through these levels, and you got your butt kicked here. Kicked. Took a while to get back, and well, the boss beat you pretty good again. Brought you back. You finally met up with the boss again. Maybe you got some extra ammo in here or whatever type of spells or healing potions in the video game. And then you got by it. Boss. You lost to the boss. You come back. Then when you finally were able to battle the second time, you go above it. And you came back to where you were after losing to the next one. So, here we have it again. Test of the next boss, and at around 1350. Hey, you know what? There might be a decent amount of resistance there. And if there is, where do I expect support to come in at? The 18 average band. That would be the answer to that. But if it beats the boss, where is it going? Well, let's do some math. Take the high of 1350. Take the low of 892, and you put the exponent of 1.618. And the exponent on a calculator will have an x to the power of y. So you would push this divided by that. You'd get like 1.4 something, and then you'd round 1.4, and then you would go xy 1.618 star or multiply 892 equals, and you get your answer. Therefore, the answer is 1744. 1744. That's the upside target. Downside, you can ignore that. But I'll talk about downside, how you use it, which is basically the polar opposite of this. Because here I need to see an up move and a correction within the up move. So that qualifies. On a down situation, I need a downtrend. And then I need a rally of some sort. So let's just use, say, this example. It did have a big low here, but it was still a winner no matter what in this case. However, what this meant was we had a low of around 250. Let's say 450. $174 down target, which meant at this stage, if you were to say, okay, yeah, I want to buy at 174, you didn't get the bottom, darn near close, what, 152, and you're able to buy. Now, how do you calculate this? What you do, it's pretty much the same, high divided by low to the exponent of 1618. But instead of multiplying the low, you want to multiply the inverse of the high, 1 divided by whatever the high is. Then when you get that completed, you're going to get a number with a 0.00 and a whole bunch of zeros. Unless, of course, you're doing a cryptocurrency in Satoshis, but you're going to get like 0.000 whatever. And then you do 1 divided by that answer, and that's your answer. So in a situation where if I take 45 divided by 25 to the exponent of 1.618, multiply it by 1 over 450, take that answer and then inverse it again, you'll get 174 in your calculator. And it worked in that situation. So that's how I use it for the calculations. Again, for the uptrend on upside Fibonacci, I need an up move, have a price correction, high divided by low. On the downside, down move, price correction. And that's how I do it. Take care.